My name's Tony Cain. I'm the director at Langham Court Theatre of the Melville Boys by Norm Foster. The journey started many months ago when we were auditioning, and here we were in this theatre. And I specifically asked, because it's our first production of Langham Court's 83rd season, we wanted to really encourage young people to come and new members. So we had quite a few actors turn up, or people turned up, that had very little experience. But we said, we promised, we'd have everybody do an audition. So we went through quite a few people. And we came up with a lovely cast. And we have a lady who plays Mary, Shara Campsell, who has done a lot of TV, film, and was not really sure of the convention of theatre. But nevertheless, she was so lovely and gave such a great audition. I thought I'd take a chance on her, and it really paid off. And also then we have Brittany Drew, who is first time at Langham Court on stage here, and just done very small kind of drama school stuff prior to this, and she turned out really well. And then we had Robert Conway, who's the most experienced of the four of them, who came up an audition, and straight off the bat I knew he was going to play Lee anyway. And then of course we had Ben, and of course Ben plays Owen, and at first he was very polite and gentle, and I had somebody else with me assisting me who knew most of the actors in Langham, could advise me because I'm new here. And I said, you know, Ben is too gentle, too nice, too polite. So I thought, you know, he's not going to fit into Aaron, I don't think so. So Aaron Hoyt, who was helping me audition, who knew everybody, been around this theatre for some time, said, I think I can pull it out of him. And I don't know what happened, but she mentioned some TV show called Jersey Shore or something. And she mentioned a character, and I don't watch much TV, so I didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, here was Owen. So it's been an interesting casting experience. Well, because I was trained at Drama Centre London many years ago, in the 70s. And then I worked as an actor and did my repertory theatre and did London Fringe and went to the Age and did the usual stuff, did adverts and stuff. And then I came out to Canada and I was teaching drama at the Citadel. And while I was there, they asked me to start putting on productions with these actors. So that's when I really started. And after that, Walterdale Theatre in Edmonton asked me to direct for them. And I did Elizabeth the Queen for them by Maxwell Anderson, which fortunately turned out to be a really successful production. And then I went on and helped them devise a writer's workshop. I ran that. And then I did another little drama school for them as well. We did Shakespeare. And we also investigated Chekhov in the Moscow State Art Theatre and Stanislavski. Did a little production called Parallels, about the life of Anton Chekhov and the Moscow State Art Theatre. In actual fact, his life and things that happened to him paralleled some of his plays. So that was an interesting sort of discovery thing. And then I went on from there and just directed productions at the Fringe, and then came out here, and after a 10-year hiatus I didn't do much. They asked me here to direct this, so this is where I've arrived from there. Well, I always wanted to sort of try my... I wanted to see if I was creative enough to be involved in theatre, and that was... I was in Australia at the time, And I was just in my early 20s, and somebody I was working with said, you know, we have a theatre, and it was in Perth, West Australia, and they asked me to be in a production there. And I got involved, and we were doing improvisation and all these sort of games around drama and creating a character, and I just thoroughly loved it. So I worked backstage most of the time, but I came on and did walk-on parts and stuff. And they said, you know, if you really want to do this, you should get professionally trained. So nobody really inspired me other than people I was working with. So I got on a plane and went to London and started doing... I started off first, I thought, well, I'll have a go for the big time. So I went and auditioned at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London and failed miserably. It was awful, terrible. And they said to me, well, you know, if you really want to take this on, why don't you start going to a lot of theatre in London? Why don't you take a part-time night school? And they advised me of all the little drama schools around London and places I could go, and I took night classes and kind of learned how to do auditions, and went to a lot of theatre and got experience and watched other actors. Other actors really impressed me. I was very lucky to go to the Old Vic and watch Laurence Olivier on stage. And watch Vanessa Redgrave on stage when they were, you know, well, Vanessa was kind of young when I was watching her. And people like that, I was very lucky to get the guidance and to be in London and go and watch the best. And I used to go and get cheap student tickets and be up in the gods, what they say, you know, you're up, way up. But it was just, I watched Ralph Richardson, Sir Ralph, you know, doing brilliant work. And so, you know, every actor copies, and you copied the artists, you know. So then, you know, you go to drama school and you develop the skills. So the rehearsal process is quite extensive, and I'll try and answer as briefly as I can, but rehearsal process is after one has auditioned your actors and chosen your actors. First thing you always do, of course, is you have a reading of the play. That's your first rehearsal. You read the play. There's many reasons for this. There's a lot of actors in the past get up and do stuff in plays they've never read it. So you always know, well, at least they've read the whole play once. So you have a reading, the first rehearsal, and from then on, it's talking and chatting about the play, what it means to them, what their characters mean to them, how do they see their characters evolving. And we just sit and talk and slowly sort of get an idea of the play. And we talk about different scenes and the acts and how the play's been constructed, and about the author and what kind of style this is, because this is comedy, and is there any pathos in this comedy? Is it serious comedy? Is it dark comedy? Is it just a light, fluffy comedy? So you discuss all these aspects. What is the genre of the piece, right? And then after that, we start just to improvise little scene. What does this scene mean to you? Well, you know, put the book down and let's improvise. So then you go on from there, and slowly they build up confidence, and the director gets an idea where we're going with this, because I'm a great believer in, because when I went to Drama Centre with Stanislavski, Drama Centre London is known as the method boot camp of drama schools. So a method is, we're all an ensemble, so we work together. So I might have an idea, but my actors have an idea, and I really encourage them to give them and they say, oh, can we speak up? Of course you can, because we're a team. We're working together. Nobody's the boss here. I'm the person that you should trust, because I'm the only one that's seeing you, and is going to be absolutely honest of how you look, how you move. Does that work for you as an actor? So I'm just guiding them through. So we build an ensemble together, so everybody has input, and from there we go on and we build and build. So that's basically how we rehearse, from just from a first read right up to they're actually working the scenes. We go straight from, I do, when I approach a play, is I need a designer for the set. And I need to meet with my designer. Don Keith was the designer for Melville Boys here. And he talks about how he sees this set working for the text, for the play. And as you can see from this set, as you will see from this set, we did something different. We pulled the deck out in front of the set, close to the audience, and we decided to do something different with it. We usually actually have a door on stage that opens onto the audience, which you don't see very often. From there, and then we have a builder, Bill Adams, who's our master builder here, comes in and says what is feasible and where we've gone too far, and he brings us back down to earth, sort of. And then I involve people with props and set decor. What kind of furniture are we going to have? So there's a huge team involved in creating the design, the set design, the environment. How is the cabin going to look? How old is the cabin? What kind of people built this cabin? Who lives here? So there's an awful lot of research has to go into that. And so, and we have people coming to paint, and my designer will advise the painter, this is what we want. And people who create, if you look around the walls of this little old cabin here, there's some interesting design. What year was it built? Well, I would ask questions. I would say, what motivates you? Why do you want to do this? But I'd never put them off. I would say, you should, if you want to do it, start just working backstage, watching actors, watching directors, watching lighting. And if, you may find you don't want to be an actor. You don't want to be a director. You might want to be a set designer. You might want to be a painter. You might want to be a lighting designer. You might want to be a sound designer. All these things that are buttons or triggers that bring out the creativity in people. Especially for a young person that really doesn't know and hasn't had much life experience. That's the way to start. You'll find out. You'll find your way. My audition process is very simple. First of all, I have to have an idea of each character, the way I see the character that's going to work in the piece. When I'm auditioning people, I play one after the other. I don't just get one person come up and do one piece and leave. I get them to interact with other actors and read scenes and see what different emotions they've got and what their range is. That's how I choose my actors. There's lots of drama going on. My stage manager, controlling actors, rehearsals that go a bit sideways. People don't focus. People don't turn up. These are all major trials and tribulations one has to go through. I went through trial and tribulation with the guns, trying to get a gun, because we had to have a gun in this scene, and trying to get, the first gun we worked in rehearsal, they broke it. I had to go and get it fixed, and can this gun be loaded with dummy sort of ammunition, and how to do that, and train actors how to work with a gun and what the proper way to hold a gun and to fire one and to load one. So that we went through a lot with that, replacing guns and having guns repaired. So that was a major thing. And costume. I got a costume designer, and you know, we had real discussions about characters. Costume designer has her idea of a character. I have my idea. Well, I think, you know, this character would wear this kind of hat. Whereas costume designer say, well, they wouldn't wear a hat at all. So that can be frustrating, and we have to talk that through and work it out. I don't know whether I've got a philosophy on acting. I think to be an actor, one has to be true to oneself. To be an actor, you have to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, how can you read yourself into another character? Because it's only you. You've only got you. My biggest challenge, and I think any director, your challenge is to get this play up and running in a very short period of time. And you have to make sure that you have scheduled everything in its place, because you're in a time limit. And it has to be up and running and looking good at a certain date. And you go from day one of rehearsal to that date. And you better be on it. You can't be 3 days before going up and not ready. I've never really come across anybody who has absolutely no talent. Everybody has some talent, somewhere. When you're auditioning people, rather than saying they have no talent, I would say they're not ready yet. Because I don't believe anybody has no talent. And you can get people up on a stage to audition, and they're absolutely... I was abominable at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. But they didn't say to me, you've got no talent, I don't know why you bother. They say, well, maybe you need some work at this. My answer to that question is, there's no such thing. Midsummer Night's Dream. A Midsummer Night's Dream is a play for actors. It's about people that change from being a working man into a donkey. It's about fairies. It's about lovers running through a forest, and there's Puck comes and does magic stuff and changes their personalities. It's wonderful for actors, and I think audiences never get tired of that. Once you've seen Midsummer Night's Dream, you'll always go back. It's not so much what play I would like to direct, it's how much time do I have to do as many as I can. Well, if you're referring to me as a director with a script, a play, your first inspiration has to be from the text. It has to be the way it's written. Their inspiration has to be the content. And that's what inspires you to make it come alive. So that's the inspiration. You've got to have something to work with to be inspired by and to want to do and create. I feel we've accomplished something. I feel we've built a lovely little ensemble of actors, and all the people who've worked on this, given a lot of their time, and we've had our arguments, and we've had our trials, we've had our tribulations. But in the end, we've grown into a little family, and it's been a joy. Yeah. Yes, I'm happy. But you know, once it comes to an end, you're looking for something else. But I am very pleased with this. I'm very pleased with the actors, of what they've brought to this, and the whole team of Langham Court Theatre, the volunteers that give their time, whether it be backstage running props, in the lighting booth, the sound people, people that just come on the set here and paint wallpaper for you. Everybody who's been involved, the front of house people that support you and help you along, the ushers, the theatre manager who takes care of the patrons. It's the whole scenario that's you feel really privileged to be part of.